This is Peter.
I just thought you look very beautiful.
Thank you.
He's an Indian guy living in Toronto. Last Christmas, I coached him through cold approach. Since then, his skills have improved a lot, and he even had a brief relationship with a woman he approached. In this video, you'll hear directly from Peter.
I am an introvert. I do like spending time on my own, but I also know I wanted more socially.
What changed for him, what his experience was like, and what actually happened after the coaching. All right, gentlemen, I'm sat here with my client Peter. Hopefully you've seen the Peter series by now. Peter is somebody who I coached in Toronto around Christmas time.
Hi, my name's Peter. Yeah, I grew up in India all my life, and now I'm in Toronto. I came as a student. At one point, I was running a store with a friend, some big responsibilities. So a lot of experiences condensed while I was in Canada. So I think I can safely say I made the most of my time here.
Yeah, on that note then, what about before I met you? What was life like? Just talk a bit about your dating life specifically. What was your dating life like before you reached out to me?
I was pretty sheltered growing up. Let's just say I was never the most social, but I always knew that I wanted more than what I had. I am an introvert. I do like spending time on my own, learning skills. I'm very good at learning cognitive skills, technical stuff, but I also know I wanted more socially. Even as a young teenager, I did not get a great experience of that, great taste of that in college either, because I went to college in India. When I went to college in college here, that's when my dating life had some meaningful growth. Started making more friends, talking to more women. I was still learning things. I was still trying things, failing so much, feeling completely clueless. What I didn't realize was it's not just about conversation, but it's about the energy you bring, and your presence matters more. Like most Indians, we all have this inferiority complex, and it's not always tied to race or how you speak. For me, that's not a big deal because I speak pretty good, like I articulate. But I do have inferiority when I speak to women who seem more put together, more successful. I know these upper middle class, like rich girls wearing Gucci and Cartier glasses. That shit intimidates me. So I do have that inferiority complex, and that comes across in the energy. What I'm trying to say is it's been messy. I've stumbled a lot. Although there are a few skills that I learned by stumbling a lot. My dating life never improved by me working by myself. So coaching was the only way that I could look at myself objectively and fix what's wrong. And that's why I took the loop.
Yeah, no, that's awesome to hear. Yeah, I remember that application call where you were just describing the approach that you were trying and had a lot of traces and hints of the pickup culture, which I try to separate myself from, and doesn't matter how witty the line is. If you think you're a piece of shit or you have this inferiority complex in front of her, then it's not going to work. It shouldn't work, should it? So good answer there. So then curious then, after being coached by me, and obviously this happened a few months back now, what has your experience been like cold approaching? So are you still fearful of walking over? So these different issues that cropped up while we were working together, are you still running into these same roadblocks? Like, what is your experience like cold approaching present day?
I improved a whole lot in just the last 3 months, thanks to the coaching. But it's going to take a lot more work, a lot more repetition before I get really good at the skill, especially since I have to unwire almost a decade of bad habits. Even now, I feel like I have to say the perfect thing and that'll somehow change her mind and she'll not walk away. Energy is 90% of the work. The girl has already made up her mind in the first few seconds, the first minute or two. And if she's not giving you much, then no line is going to change that. That's a bitter pill I had to swallow, and my ego doesn't like it.
You mentioned the energy. It matters more than whatever you're saying. So what does that mean to you? Is it the way that you're presenting yourself, the way that you feel about yourself? Like, what goes into the energy, and whether or not she is into it?
What goes into energy is exactly what you said, how you feel about yourself. What are the things that you say to yourself when you talk to yourself? Part of it is tied to all your accomplishments.
Yeah, what I also liked that you said too was when I asked you about what your experience has been like after the coaching, you were just honest about it, right? Because you've had some wins, which we're going to get into shortly here, but the reality is it's hard to go 0 to hero in a weekend. Some guys think that they can just go 30 years tucking tail, never walking over to facing their fear, and then all of a sudden 3 days of doing so is going to erase the 30 years that they've been running away from their fear. It's not the case. It is going to shock your system, which is great. And the good news is you did come out of the immersion much better than when you began, as hopefully the viewers saw throughout the series. But after the coaching, that's when the work starts. And so that's what I mean by progress, though. That wasn't just automatic. That was intentional. Peter kept going out. He kept putting forth effort. Then he would send the audio messages to me. We'd critique it on a call just like this and repeat the cycle for weeks and months. until he's gotten his approach to a place where it's at now. That said, the good news is where his approach is at now is good enough to get dates, because he's actually got quite an example of a story that he's going to go through here. Why don't you give us a rundown of what happened? So just set the scene for us. How did you meet this person? Who was she? What was the romance like? How did it go? Just tell us everything.
Yeah, I mean, I was writing fresh off the immersion. Still a lot of ups and downs. I was a lot of days I was doing good, getting numbers. Other days it was blowout city. And just one of these days, I was walking past the mall. That's when I met Sarah right near Nathan Phillips Square. I approached her right before she was about to cross the street. I looked in her eyes and said, "Hey, you're so damn pretty." And I just wanted to come over and say hi. I don't think I said that. At some version of it.
Yeah, you're paraphrasing, but yep, I get it. Just set the scene for us. What was this, like March? Was it February time? March time?
Oh, this was February 1st. Surprise, surprise. We went on an instant date right there. She was already on her way to a coffee place. She was asking me for recommendations. So we were kind of brainstorming right there on that street corner. Like at that time, I didn't care about the spotlight effect. I didn't care about who was watching me. We had a great day. We had a great time then.
That was the meeting. Firstly, that was the first date you went on through Cold Approach, right? So that was an awesome win. But this developed into something quite special. So can you just run us through just the romance?
It felt like a big deal at the time because first win from Cold Approach, like things were looking really up, but this was the first real biggest milestone. So it was a little bit hard to suppress the needy feelings because I still had those. Well, there was still a little bit of urgency because she was only in the country for a month, which I knew from day one. The second date, I knew she was already a beer person, so we went to some. I know a lot of bars. I'm not a crazy cafe person. But
Peter's an alcoholic, though. He's not a cafe person. He's an alcoholic, huh?
Funny thing is, she thought I was an alcoholic too, so she was trying to keep up with me. I thought she was, and I tried to keep up with her. So we had a big laugh about it. We had dinner the second date. We had some drinks. We were just chilling on the couch at the bar that we went to. I felt like I was I came on a little bit strong towards the end of second date, and she could feel it too. I thought that I had lost it at that point because, and I don't blame myself because it's my first one. Like, I'm not expecting things to be perfect. Okay, so maybe this died out. Maybe she friend zoned me, or so I thought. She left to Montreal, and when she came back, she brought me gifts, which I wasn't expecting. So I just suggested a more casual, like more spontaneous date. What we ended up doing, we drove all the way to downtown again. We ran all the way to this ice cream place right before it closed. That kind of evened out things, I suppose. And by when date 4 rolled around, we went to go get drinks again. She was already into me because she could see that I'm a person who shoots my shot, and I can still take her tests, like how hot and cold she was, and I can take that, and I can still roll with the punches and not be too phased. Date 4 ended up had more tension, more the good kind of tension, and that's what led to my first kiss from a Cold Approach date. Yeah, we were locked eyes. We were in the bar. She was giving me gifts. She was leaning on my chest after making out with me. I was pinching myself. Wait, is this really happening? No way. This ain't really happening.
Oh man, just listening to you relay this story is so fun, just to relive it with you, man, because to be next to you when you're learning this skill, right? To be with you throughout the ups and downs of feeling frustrated, of getting the wins. You got a phone number and then she didn't reply to the text, etc. And we got so close and then the date didn't happen. And then just ride in the roller coaster with you, man. Just so to listen back to you describe this moment as it played out, it's just such a cool experience. So hopefully the guys are enjoying it, and this is by no means the pinnacle, right? So if you want to continue the story,
this was a girl. She was Korean. They do have a sort of a dating culture, but they're not big into PDA. I remember date 1, she didn't even want to hug me, and then date 4, we were kissing at some random bar. Date 5 rolled around. Because there were a lot of dates that happened on the same month because she was leaving, as I said. So I kind of suggested something every week, which I normally wouldn't do. So we just ended up spending a whole day together on day 5. I had an Airbnb. I took her to my place later on. So throughout that day, it was just PDA. She does not reject any of my advances at that point. So I had to err on the side of caution. I had to be the one to moderate stuff. It's a lot different for me because nowhere in my dating experience is I've dated somebody I've known for barely a month and got this close with. College, high school, none of that, none of those relationships compare. I felt like it was a lot of firsts for both of us. I took her to my place, but she did not want to, do the deed because I understand some women are not down for that, and we still had a great time, and we continued going on a few more dates after that. She wrote me a letter. I wrote one in her book, on her diary. What do you know? I mean, I called her a cab. She hopped into it and left. That's how it ended. The last thing she said to me before she left for New York was that she's always going to be in my corner, and whenever I come to Korea, like she'll take care of me.
Yeah, no, what an awesome story. What are some things you learned, right? Obviously that was over a month of dates and text exchanges and stuff, and so I imagine a lot of lessons came there. Yeah, did anything hit you as far as that inferiority complex? Did any of that get broken down, or the nerves? Do you have anything you can share with the viewer?
Inferiority complex doesn't exist. I approach lawyers, doctors, I approach six-figure making consultants who clearly look like they have won in life. What I learned is you can't stop approaching even when you have an experience like this. So I was riding off of that momentum and I should have kept it going soon as she left. But there was some life stuff that happens. I wouldn't totally blame myself. And also about emotional investment. Like you can be as good looking as you can be the wittiest guy, you can be as suave as hell, but a lot of women will still say no because they're not after the same things we are. Being okay with that and just taking it in stride, that is the hardest skill to learn. Second hardest. The first hardest is learning from your mistakes, like the adaptability that you would say. The second is to be able to let go, put your ego down, and just know that some things won't work out no matter how good, like how entitled you come across as.
Yeah, and so this is what I mean in my content, that every guy's a different starting point. Some guys, they reach out, they have sales experience and a big sales background, and they're already used to getting rejected, or maybe they had some dating experience in college and they were in a frat, and so they had no problem lining up dates back then, but now they're in the real world. But you represent, in my opinion, the most default of most of my viewers and clients, which are guys who are just generally struggling in their dating lives. And it's not for any other reason but that they are introverted guys. They don't socialize a whole lot. They don't go out to bars and clubs and stuff. And so it's like, well, what do these guys do? And so for you to be able to go from somebody who's a nervous wreck, who's just completely frozen in conversation, to now what the viewer probably saw in the last video, which is somebody who's able to just go from cover to cover in a cold approach, like as smooth as butter. I couldn't believe my eyes or my ears when I watched that back. I was like, is this Peter? This is the same guy I met in Toronto. So just to see you go through that entire journey, it's just really cool that you had this very pivotal moment, the substantial moment with Sarah. And yeah, I understand why it means so much. Yeah, because although right now this might seem like it's kind of in the distant past, right? We're in April now. This was back in February. The reality is, like, this is just the first, right? And so you just have to recognize it's going to be monumental because it's the first. It'll always be. But this is the first of many, right? You're never going to get worse at cold approach. You're only going to get better. And so for you to be able to now take this momentum, regenerate it, and continue building the skill, yeah, you're going to have more Sarah type experiences, except this time maybe she'll be local instead of flying to New York and then wherever she is now. So yeah, to end us off then, Peter, obviously we've known each other now for almost 6 months here. We've gone through a lot of ups and downs, but yeah, just let the guys hear it from you. What would you recommend to the viewer? Because you used to be a viewer, right? You used to watch the content. You didn't know me personally. Now you know me very personally, right? We've had some ups and downs. I've really been in your corner when you've had some tougher times. What would you recommend to the viewer who is in a position where you used to be? They're watching the content, they resonate with it, they think that they could, right? They've watched your journey specifically. They think they could do this, but they just don't know where to get started. What would you recommend to that person?
If you don't know where to get started, the first thing is to get off your phone, get off the bed, and just find your footing. Figure out what you have to do that day. Just stop being on the phone. Just if you're not in contact with people, you should call your friend, somebody you know. Get more FaceTime with people. That's something that I've avoided for a long time. It can be easy to just be on your devices all day, and you still make bank. Sure, that'll feed you, but you still need people. Although you don't have to go to as much lengths as I did, because I just threw myself into the deep end and I do things most extroverts wouldn't do. But you could do that if you want. But the easiest way to start is to just do the easiest steps that you can to like get yourself in front of people. If that means sales training, if that means practicing that skill set in a like improv, or practicing that skill set in a less harsh, less critical environment, if you can do that, or you could just throw myself in the deep end like I did. Like I got a sales job and I struggled. What matters is the actions you take. I don't have enough words to express how thankful I am, because cold approach, it made me face a lot of things in my life that I can't just ignore anymore. It's a lot of things beyond cold approach. It's to me, it's just like a medium to look at life at a certain way, and it makes you come to terms with the reality of life, like where you've been slacking off, where you've taken things for granted, where you've not been pushing hard as you should have.
No, that's awesome, man. Awesome. Well, look, it's been a pleasure coaching you. Obviously, we're going to continue on. I'll still be in your corner as we go forward, but no, just thank you for taking the time to sit down. And I'm sure the guys found this valuable because they probably see themselves in your journey when they watched it back, and they can probably really resonate it with what you've been able to accomplish, what you've gone through. So yeah, thank you, man. So that's Peter. From awkward conversations to approaching confidently on his own to actually having a relationship from this. And none of this happened because he was special. It happened because he showed up, got coached, and put in the reps. So if you've been watching this and thinking, I could never do that, or it wouldn't work for me, well, that's exactly what Peter used to think. The only difference is he actually decided to do something about it. So if you want help going through the same process, so you can actually get results like this in your own life, then apply to work with me one-on-one by clicking the first link in the description below. I'll see you there.